Dude, we got 2 guys, 2 coffees, 1 guy and a Coke.
1 guy and a Coke.
1 guy and a Coca-Cola.
I just realized that little thing I did, as if I was going to pour coffee in your soda. I did right over your laptop, but it's okay. All right because it was only half full.
That would have literally sidelined most of your day today if that would have happened, I think.
I would have laughed. It would have been great.
Yeah.
Wait, I know I've been asking you a lot in the last couple episodes. What are we doing here? What are we? What is this?
This is TGC, baby.
TGC.
This is 2 guys and coffee, and the last few episodes, we've been having beers you guys have seen, or seltzers, whatever, whatever we want.
Right.
But this is 9 a.m. in the morning, and we got a killer guest on. We got Steve Hamilton over here.
Yeah, we got Zach, Colin, and Steve Hamilton.
And we're going to power ourselves up this morning with some coffee. Steve's rocking some Coke. Mm-hmm. It's all right.
Coca-Cola. Yeah. That's cool.
It's caffeinated. Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same deal.
That's legit. Can I just say really quick, I appreciated you confirming that this is 9 a.m. in the morning as opposed to 9 a.m. in the evening.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem, man.
Now we know where we're at. Is that Central Time?
That is CST for sure. Yeah.
Roger that. Steve, welcome.
Thank you.
Dude.
Glad to be here.
Dude, we can't thank you enough for making the time for us 2 dudes.
My pleasure, man.
Today.
I'm happy to be here.
I think it goes without saying you're kind of a busy dude. You got like 1 or 2 things going on usually.
Couple balls in the air.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
That's right.
Yeah, that is what she said.
There's gonna be about 5. That's what she said throughout this.
That's perfect.
All right, good.
Funny that he brought up the busy thing because before you were even in here this morning, he's like, "You seem a little quiet or something." I'm like, "Yeah, I got people texting me." I'm like, "That with work and everything." I'm like, I feel a little. He's like a little stretched. Then I'm like, "Yeah," and then he's like, "It's coincidence that we're having Steve on because I imagine he also feels the same."
You probably wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
I manage it all right.
Yeah.
I do my best.
There's a lot of questions I could ask. I think what might be the best course of action would be for you, as if nobody knows, to start with who are you, Steve? Can I call you Steve-O?
Whatever you want to call me, buddy.
Does anyone call you Steve-O?
You know what? You have been a valued team member long enough where you can call me whatever you want.
Sweet.
Yes.
If you want to even say, "Hey, Dick."
Whoa.
Go right.
So this starts the segment of the podcast called "Who the Hell is Steve?"
And what the hell are you doing here?
All right. Well, I am just a guy that had a vision to be my own boss when I was 19. And I feel like most of the people that I eat.
Whoa, let's wait. Let's get to that later.
Freudian slip there, guys.
Jeez,
I eat people. Most of the people that I meet in their late teens, early 20s seem to be jaded by the YouTube generation where everybody wants to be their own boss. And while I think that's amazing, I love seeing the energy that the youth have. It's just not possible that everybody is their own boss. But if people look for mentorship or guidance, I am always there to help them and steer them where they need to be. But I was that guy that was, 10, 11 years old, going and buying like sweets from the store and then reselling them to neighborhood kids or selling them to my mom to put in lunches. Nice. And my mom was the worst customer because she had no money. My dad had no money. Like very, very humble upbringing where, our family was on welfare. We bounced around from, I don't know, I think I lived 10 different places by the time I was age 10. Had a different school that I went to every single year. Fortunately, it got a little bit stable. They found a little rental home in Wheaton when I was 10, and then I was able to stay through the same kind of school trajectory there on through high school. But I had a bike shop going when I was in 6th grade where I would fix local bikes.
6th grade?
Yes.
Wow,
so
dude.
Always like
hustling from
Jeez.
Like people, I mentioned that people in their late teens, early 20s, they come up to me and they ask for mentorship, and again, I'm happy to do it, but like what frustrates me a little bit is when they're looking to me for the idea, right? So what's extremely important is is, what is your product? What is your idea? What service are you going to provide? How are you going to differentiate yourself? And when they say, well, I'm coming to you for that. I'm like,
whoa,
if I had a great idea, like I would execute on it. Even though my time is limited, I would execute on it. So
like I wouldn't just hand it to you.
Exactly. So have an idea ready, and then I can use my skills, the people around me, to help anybody really nurture that idea, and that's what I am here for. But getting back to, and I bounce around a lot. Sorry in advance, bro. This is the way my brain works.
Send it.
That's awesome.
So so 19 years old, working out of my parents' apartment building.
So you're 19-year-old 6th grader.
No, well, yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That would be bad.
Okay. Just checking.
Was not a great student, by the way. Like I think, how do I explain it? Frequent principal visits, the dean, grades where I probably averaged a C. I was taking a sophomore class with my brother. He was a sophomore though. That was the problem. I was the senior.
Oh, nice.
In the sophomore class, retaking English.
Hell yeah.
So that was a little awkward. Both of us had Miss McKenna for sophomore English.
Miss McKenna, shout out.
I heard that, player. Always knew that I was destined for something greater, and just I bought a set of like 16-inch wheels for my 1994 Z28 that I had saved up for and worked for, and I started actually working at age 13 as a caddy, 14 at McDonald's. There were no school sports for me; it was just work, go make money if you want to have clothes and nice things. Saved up for that Z28, needed some wheels on it. I've always been like an automotive guy through and through. I had replaced engines at that point, like added other aftermarket accessories. And so it wasn't then that I realized that wheels were my calling, but it was like, I don't know, a few months after that when I'm like, hey, 16 inch isn't big enough. And that is what she said. And so we got two. And then went and found the same style in 18. So I'm like scouring eBay, looking for this wheel, seeing the price. And I am thrifty as hell. I was then, I am now. So I'm like, how do I get this cheaper? How do I get this cheaper? And then I went and found the manufacturer, and I'm like, wow, they've got a distribution center like 30 minutes away from my house. So I call the manufacturer. They say, sorry, you're not a shop. We can't sell to you. And that is a big barrier that I learned, that you'd need to have a business license and other stuff to buy from an actual manufacturer wholesaler. So I called them the next day and I lied and I said, hey, this is Steve from Firestone. What's my price on that Eagle 077?
That's incredible.
An 18-inch. And then they gave me the price. And I'm like, holy crap. This wheel's like $90 a wheel. That's $360 a set. And they're going for eBay for like $550 a set. I'm like, hot damn, like, dude, I can make a business out of this. Literally the next day I show up in my car to go get set up with them. Didn't have anything. This is the only manufacturer I could have showed up to with a business card. I was like installing radios on the side. I showed them that card. Wasn't even a legit LLC set up with the government. And they're like, cool. Like, and I didn't even have checks. Like I had personal checks on me. So they set me up with just a business card.
Crazy.
This
is awesome, dude.
Just a business card. And then like I get home, I find out what they have in stock. I start listing stuff on eBay. Like I couldn't even sleep the night before when I knew I was going to go and visit these guys. Like I just knew this was going to be a success. Like I don't think I got any sleep that night. And so woke up, did all that, came home after they set me up with my business card and started listing product. And like day one, I start selling stuff. So I'm shuttling back and forth to them that week. I think I picked up 5-6 sets of wheels to go reship that week. And they, using personal checks. And
nice.
And then they're like, all right, this guy's not floating under the radar anymore. Like, yeah, he set us up with the business card, but corporate's like, who's this guy buying 5 sets of wheels in a week? Like,
Steve-O Hamilton?
Yes. Why don't we have a business? Why don't we have a business license on file, a resale tax ID? But at that point, I'm like, I sold 5 sets and I've barely listed any of their product for sale. Like, I know this is going to be successful. I'll take whatever savings I have, whatever I've got right now, and I'm going to go immediately go get this legal, go get them whatever they need to continue selling.
Hell yeah.
And then from then on, it was all just about adding as many manufacturers as I could. And that was a climate that was very anti-internet. Internet was disrupting. It was a very price driven, and we see now why it was disruptive, because now it's 70-80% of all purchases are made online or something.
For sure.
But yeah, that's kind of the start that got me, that was kind of the foundation.
That was SD Wheel. right
and
there.
that was Steve's discount.
Steve's
I
discount.
never got to hear
And,
that.
and the business card was Steve's discount radio installation. See, this was back when
Oh
I
my
knew,
God, that's so
I
good.
I knew nothing about branding. I'm like, hey man, you know what? Let's throw that discount word in there. Steve's radio installation. That flows off the tongue real nice.
Yeah.
And Steve's discount wheels. You know, that sounds corporate, good, great brand. No, it's not. So shortened
Dude.
to SD wheels.
Was it a white business card with just black text?
Yes.
We could be two guys
Yes.
and discount coffee. If
There
we
you go.
wanted.
That'll bring him in.
That's awesome, dude. What a
Yes.
story.
I never got to
yes.
hear your upbringing because I've heard about your upbringing before, but I
Sure.
haven't got to hear it that in depth. So that was good. I like
Yeah,
that.
and I've got this funky memory where like you can tell me your name 3 times and I'll forget it, but I can point out like where I was at a specific instance when you did something completely minuscule, unimportant, and like what it smelled like at that time. So
Yes.
so like I have
That's awesome.
I have way too many memories from my childhood, but it also allows me to like relate to a lot of people that
Sure.
grew up with struggle. So
Man, you still feel busy?
That is no, but that what you just described right there with your memory, that is, I can relate to that just on every level because
Sure.
there's so many times where people will say, we'll be doing something with friends or whatever, and then I'll say, this reminds me of, when I was in 7th grade and my parents took me here,
Yeah.
and I remember the smell of this. But someone introduces themselves to me a week later. They say, "Hey, Colin." I'm like,
Hey,
"Who are
forget
you?"
about
Hey,
it. Yeah.
guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. The smell of spring, for example.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
immediately like 10 years old. I know exactly where I'm at. It's crazy.
Speaking of smells, they say that is the #1 sense that is tied to memory. And so I'm a huge Disney World fan. You may or may not know that.
Yeah.
So one of their huge things is like they have strong, like you walk down the outside of their Magic Kingdom park and they pump the Main Street USA that leads up to the castle with bakery smells. And like it's just so amazing how and I'm sitting here cycling through my mind all the smells they have in their hotels and wanting to go to Disney World now. And that's why they do it, right? To get you in the door.
Totally. They're
Yes.
masters.
Smell of chlorine
They are.
brings you back to water parks.
Right.
That was me. That one was for me.
Okay, that was for you.
Good job.
The smell of coffee reminds me of this. That's how that goes.
Yes.
What are you doing now, dude? Don't you have like a
Yep.
car or something?
So quite
I think
quite a
it was
bit.
two.
Quite,
Yeah.
I'll slam through what I'm doing now, and then if you want to focus on anything, you just let me know, sir. But
You're good, man.
thank you.
Yeah.
Back involved heavily with wheel and tire companies, Fitment Industries, Custom Offsets, Mr. Wheel Deal, Trail Built, SD Wheel, and many more. As you know, having a blast actually working with you guys and the marketing team. It is so awesome. After kind of stepping away for a year and a half, it is so awesome to be back and exciting. And we have such a freaking phenomenal team. And I don't just say that like, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You guys are badass. It's awesome to work with you guys again. I just enjoy coming here and having fun
We
with
like
you guys.
seeing you, man.
Thank you. And then also have 7 Pet Supplies Plus franchise stores where I sell pet supplies. I have an awesome manager, Kelly Kirk, who takes care of all of that stuff. She does a wonderful job. I have some investments in solar. I have a bunch of properties that I'm actually largely looking to sell since the market is very, very hot right now. I've done a really good job timing the market with buying, with selling. And then I have my Hamilton collection where
What's that?
it is a not-for-profit car collection. I mean, I'm a big car guy. Started out with a Lamborghini Aventador that Sean Chartier talked me into getting in 2018.
You really
and then
like that car, don't you?
I did until I sold it and did not. I did the first month. And then I realized the single clutch was a little too rough for me.
Yeah.
Like I wanted a smooth ride.
That's why I said that, because I remember you talking some shit about it, and I thought that was funny.
It felt heavy, too wide. The steering was heavy, and the shifting was just too jerky. And like half the fun of the car is the experience, and then half the fun is the clout, right?
Sure.
And I'm one of the few people that are willing to admit, like, of course you have like a car collection for some clout, right? Maybe it's some inadequacy that I have for my child. I'm sure if I sat down here with
Hey, dude.
there's some inadequacy that I have to overcome by showing everybody my hyper and supercars. But you know what? The good thing about it is that
Were you going to say sit
that's
down at the
incredible.
shrink?
maybe I
We're
need to.
not qualified. If you're on, like, I know we look like we are, but
We'll break it down for you.
Back on that
Colin can do
eating people comment that I made. Now,
yeah, let's break into that.
So bought the Aventador in 2018, and then like I'd realized how much, because that was my first Supra. I realized how much I loved it, and then I went and bought a Porsche GT3 RS, a McLaren 720S, and just was thrilled with it. And I've always been a guy that's been willing to like share my things, my home, my vehicles, really like whatever it is that I have. I've always thought of kind of community property. So, my whole goal behind starting the Hamilton Collection was to create a channel that I can help drive awareness to donating blood. There's something that my wife and her cousin runs called a Pipe for Kim. It gets people out there donating blood, raising awareness that, hey, people with cancer and other people need blood, and there's a critical shortage and need for it. So I'm like, I can use my collection for that. Oh, wait, I can actually, not only use my collection for that, but I can also raise money for other things, Ukraine, charities that relate to minorities, other cancers. So we've done an awesome job with that. But what is most near and dear to my heart is actually sharing. I mean, that stuff's all extremely close to my heart. Don't get me wrong, but like sharing my cars with the community is my favorite thing. Even more so than me going and whipping around, a Bugatti. That's fun, but letting people come and experience these vehicles is amazing. And taking 10 of them out to dinner, letting kids go in, start them up. I had a guy come by yesterday, and I thought they told me that he had beaten cancer. And I'm like, yeah, dude, send this guy. He came to my house and he's looking at my cars. And then I find out that he's actually like still actively battling cancer. Oh. So like that just melts my heart because my dad went through that. I went through that with him. He passed away in 2017 from similar. So I'm like, dude, just go take I took him for a ride in the Bugatti. I'm like, you can just take my Audi for a week. He's like, I just wanted to rent a sports car. That was what I wanted to do. And I haven't been able to do that. And I'm like, go ahead, man. I'll see you in a week.
That's
that
awesome.
is awesome.
But
I imagine you getting to see the smile on the faces.
I love it, and I feel like it makes my heart like hurt right now just thinking about that guy in this situation. But hopefully the Audi R8 for a week or however the hell long he wants it will provide a little bit of light for him.
That is cool.
Yes.
I can speak to that because I remember before I really, before I really knew you, I remember you had a couple of the cars over at 89, and I remember when that was my first exposure to you just being like, yeah, you guys want to like drive one? And I remember just looking at you like, whoa, what?
I mean,
sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've told the story before where like my wife got denied sitting in someone's Corvette when I was just a poor 16-year-old with my then girlfriend, who is now my wife 20 something years later. We've been together. Really my only serious girlfriend, but like, she's like, hey, can I go sit in your Corvette? And the guy's like, no. And I'm like, oh, really, dude? She wanted to sit in it. She's like, that's all she's asking to do. And he said no. And I'm like, right then is when I made the decision that like, you know what? If I'm ever blessed enough to have something like this, like, of course I'm going to share it with anybody and everybody that wants to experience it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
I do my best.
You're crushing it. You're doing okay. Like, let's not,
I try.
What fun would it be to just hoard it all for yourself and not, share the happiness with anyone?
And most people that have like a collection, that's exactly what they do. They sit in their just garage.
Look at it.
They're private. They don't even a lot of them don't even tell people about the collection. I'm like, why are you collecting these like trophies, but nobody can come experience them and you're not even out driving them, Yeah. I don't understand it.
It does seem kind of goofy. I obviously know nothing about this, but that does seem a little weird. I don't know though.
But we put miles, like I think I average my Bugatti, I put 5,000 miles on it in the last year. And like, that's not even my daily. My daily is the Tesla Plaid. And the other ones are averaging about 3,000 miles. So that's how much we're letting people get out and drive these things, where I'm going to add, my cars times that 75 to 90,000 miles on a bunch of super and hyper cars over the course of 12 months.
And a lot of times, if other people own them, they probably never even see that kind of mileage, ever. So that's awesome that you're driving them.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yes, and there's going to be a lot more miles on the Bugatti, because before the podcast started, he actually said to me, Steve said to me, you can just have it for a year.
Yeah. For 2022.
And I said, are you serious, man? And he said, yes. So
it's my favorite vehicle of the collection. So I don't think so. Good try.
I appreciate you excluding me from that, Steve. Yeah, cool,
of course. Mm-hmm.
I figured if I get the audience looped in on it, you have to own it.
Yeah,
I know.
The world heard that.
That's true. Nice try.
I do have a question leading off of the car collection.
Yes.
So you have a lot of cool cars.
Sure.
He has a Trailblazer. I just want to throw that out there.
Nice. that was a big vehicle early on that needed wheels and tires. The 6-on-5 bolt pattern, yeah.
It's an SS, I mean.
Yeah. 3 SS leather.
That's amazing.
We have a
That's a much different. A Trailblazer is a much different car than a Trailblazer SS.
Right. Thank you.
I know.
It's just it's a temporary thing right now, so that I can have some fun.
Yeah.
while still staying, within the budget.
Yeah.
Can I just close the loop on that really fast? It's a quick loop close, I know, because I just said it. I don't want it to make it sound like I'm making fun of his Trailblazer because I love that thing.
It's an inside
yeah,
joke,
I don't.
I got you.
That might have sounded like I was being an asshole.
No, he's just memeing about it.
Yeah, that's all.
But so you have a lot of cool cars. Question I have is, why don't you have a private jet yet?
What's your take on jets? Yeah.
So
I can picture
it's-
you having like a
it's-
murdered out
Yeah.
Gulfstream.
We have a jet.
No, you don't. Get out of here. I don't know.
First one to call us out on.
Well,
Yeah.
a couple of things. I'm like, believe it or not, the first and foremost is it's part of it about it being thrifty. Like, I don't mind flying commercial.
Okay.
There's something that I enjoy about the experience, and I fly I fly probably, I don't know, 40 times a year, quite a bit. So I check all the boxes for someone that would do a private jet.
Yeah.
But like, I don't mind the commercial. Like, it's fun. I can sit and just relax. And I'm a pilot, by the way. You guys you do or don't know that.
I
but
did not.
Dude, I actually didn't know that.
All right. Well, I have my pilot's license.
And you don't have a jet, dude.
No, I don't. But like, this is coming from someone that did extensive training in being a pilot. It is safer to go fly commercially than in a private jet. There's like a 10 times accident rate in the private aviation field.
Okay.
Now, private jets are a lot safer than private, like single prop Cessna planes.
Sure.
So
I guess.
like part of that plays into it. The second part is we actually looked into doing one for the company briefly, very briefly, because we were planning on like expanding, opening up on the West Coast, and we're like, we might need people like there in a blink. And but then we looked at like the environmental impact. And Ben is huge, Ben.
Yeah.
You know Ben. He's huge on the environment, but I also am looking at like the fuel burn, where I'm like 2,000 gallons of fuel to go to Florida for like my family of 5. Like, like I don't
Wasteful?
I don't even. Yeah. Like I feel guilty doing something like that. Like I would just feel horrible when you can go in a commercial jet and it's a lot less per person. It's still not great. But it's definitely better than 2,000 gallons of fuel or something to do that. So that, and then, financially, like there are some awesome depreciation benefits that I learned. Like, everybody always loves to hear about real estate. So I sold like 5 different properties last year, and I don't know how. I'll give you like the 1 minute spiel on why real estate is so amazing.
Send it.
So first, I bought a lot of my properties like when it dipped, 2010 to 2012, 13. I bought a lot of properties really cheap. And when like sometimes it's hard to buy because you're like, it's down 10%. But like 2008 to 2012, 13, even 14, like it was so cheap where I'm like, there is no way that I'm going to be able to get these properties for this cheap ever again. And I was spot on. So bought them all. And then the cool thing about commercial and residential property buildings is you can depreciate them. So if you spend $1 million on a building, I'm using a nice round high number to make it easiest. You can tell the government over the course of 40 years, I'm just going to write this building down. So $1 million divided by 40 years is, $25,000 a year. So I'm telling the government this building is now worth $975. It's now worth $950, $925. And you can take that $25,000 and you just deduct it from your income. So it's so if you made $100,000 that year, well, no, government, I made $75,000 because I'm going to use that $25,000 depreciation to offset my taxes. So you're getting that much less taxes taken out of your check. If you can take $25,000 off of your reportable income, you're going to get an even bigger tax refund, right?
Huge. Yeah.
So my tax bracket, I'm in the highest tax bracket, 39.6%. So anytime I can write off $25,000, I'm saving, and tell me if I'm getting too far in the weeds, but I'm saving my tax bracket times the $25,000. Now, when you go to sell, the great thing that the government does is they only charge you on capital gains. So if I've depreciated this building down to $0, I now, if I go sell it for that, it'll be well over $1 million. But if I go sell it, when I recapture that $1 million, I do have to pay taxes on it, but it's not at my 39.6%. It's at 25%. So all this year I've been taking the discount at 39.6%.
Right.
I go to sell it. The other thing is that I've been taking that, and this is why people invest in real estate, like candidly. I've been taking that depreciation on today's money. $25,000 today is worth a hell of a lot more than it is in 10, 20 years when I go to recapture it. So I'm going to be paying that 25% capital gains when I go and sell this property 10 years from now, but money is worth a lot less then. So it's kind of hard to explain, but like you're taking discounts now at today's money value, and then you're paying it back at whatever it's worth in the future, which is a lot less.
A lesser.
So That's why I love property.
That's
So
legit.
getting back to where I was at, like the jet thing.
Yeah, the jet thing.
I sold a bunch of properties. I had to recapture a bunch of, they call it depreciation recapitalization. So I had all this depreciation that I had to pay back at that long-term capital gains rate of 25%. And that was significant. So I just learned that if you buy a private jet or any type of plane right now, even if you finance it, let's say you go buy a $2 million plane and you put 200 grand down, you can fully depreciate that plane year one. So I can take that full $2 million and just write it off my taxes and tell the government I made $2 million less, even though I'm financing only 200K of it. So like what I should have done was maybe go and invest in a private jet and just offset all the recapitalization that I had. So I'm learning how to just continue deferring and like putting off having to pay tax, because the longer you can put it off, they say a tax deferred is a tax not paid. The longer you can put it off, the longer you can avoid that liability. Now, I'm very conservative when it comes to that stuff. Like, to be clear, like I'm not a risky guy. If there's a 51% chance I'll get away with it and a 49% I won't, then I'm not even going to touch it. It's got to be like a 93% chance. So this is all like legit stuff that anybody can do. It's encouraged almost. They want people out buying planes. They want people out buying properties.
That's interesting.
And so, yeah, so that gets me back into the, gosh, man, would a jet make sense? But no, the environmental impact is just so bad where I just can't do it.
You know, that there's a lot there, obviously, but just the underlying theme there was very interesting, because before we had you on, when he and I think you thought of the jet thing, like, why doesn't Steve have a jet? I'm thinking, and we talked about this a little bit, where it's like, so you've got all your cars, and you just went through like why you have them, the joy you get out of them for the reasons you get that. But I was like, Steve just doesn't seem like a jet guy.
Nah,
like I bet you he'd look at a jet as like super wasteful or whatever, right?
My brain is weird. Like I have these hyper and supercars, right? But you're right. I do look at a jet as wasteful, and like commercial flying is cheap. Like relative to a jet, you're paying probably, even if you're really good at it, you're paying probably $8,000 to $10,000 for your family to fly to Florida, where it's significantly cheaper for me to go. I'll go pay like $2,000 to $2,500 for my family to fly commercially. So,
and like you said, it has to do with the experience too.
Yes,
and that's also fair. Like what we were mentioning with the car collection, having other people enjoy it, you'd be going down, almost the same avenue that those that just collect things and hoard them for themselves.
Yes.
You're kind of secluding yourself from everyone else.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's true. Now, I do like to seclude. I say this, and I'm probably shooting myself in the foot, but like, I want like people that struggle like me. Those are my people. Those are the people that I can relate to still, even though, I've spent half my life in those shoes and half my life in owning a business and having good income. Like the people from the first half of my life are still my people. Like I just don't jive well with those that have cars like mine. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just like the first half of my life. People.
You're a down to earth dude.
I try.
Yep.
Like that's probably somewhere where I can imagine, listen, I'm not trying to call anybody out. But I can imagine you ran into some hot dogs in that car community.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, it's just not a good vibe from some dudes like that, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, they're good people. I just don't jive well with them. I don't know.
Sure. You can tell them I call them hot dogs.
I love it. Great term.
Hot dogs.
I'm going to use that.
Who's one of the coolest, I would say, biggest like household name people that you've met? Whether that could be a movie
besides
star. Besides us.
Well, I mean, like the collection has afforded us some awesome opportunities since it's not for profit, and like celebrities, is as much as you think that these guys are making great income, which they are, and have like infinite access to everything, they don't. Like guys just can't go find a Bugatti Chiron to drive. So we were able to get David Dobrik over to my house, and he drove my Countach and my Chiron. So that was a really neat opportunity.
That's cool.
We talk regularly with Stradman, maybe not regularly, but here and there, and we were able to line him up with a set of Inovias from our company that looked badass in my opinion.
Yeah, legit.
But like as far as who I've met in recent times, that would be it. Like there's been just brief like handshakes. Marcus Lemonis, the Prophet, I was able to meet, and he was meeting, like he was at a PayPal convention. And he literally had like 100 people in line to shake his hand, and he spent like 2 minutes with every person, because he's like, "What do you do?" Like I'm like, I was amazed. So that was fascinating. But yeah, those are the kind of the three that come to mind, I guess.
Sweet.
Indeed.
Colin.
What?
I had a thought.
Yeah.
What if, because here's the deal, Steve. I know you called us out on this earlier, but listen, Gulfstream's taking forever to build the TGC jet. It's just ridiculous.
Okay.
They keep talking about this, supply issue.
Yeah,
So.
whatever. It's a different thing every other week, and our guys kind of getting whatever. So if you ever circle back to the jet thing, we'd be willing to talk about it with you.
All right.
Yeah, we'll
partner in on one.
let you in.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We're willing to hey,
maybe if you guys do have something figured out, good for you. I mean,
he's like right now. He's like, I don't know if they're being.
Yeah,
I'm like, do they have something?
like, wait a minute, is there a jet out there?
That would be amazing.
Yeah, no, not currently, but your talk has really kind of strayed me away from. I was about to pull the trigger on one. And now
nice.
it's just
Well, good. Save the environment.
Yep,
That's why I
exactly.
drive Teslas.
Totally. There you go.
Indeed.
It's legit.
You do like
Yes.
Teslas? I didn't know you like. Teslas.
I have a Tesla Plaid. I have a 2020 Model X, and then I have a 2017 Model X at my home in Florida.
Sweet. I guess I didn't know that.
Those are my dailies. I absolutely love Tesla. Unless other auto manufacturers can catch up with them, that is the car of the future.
Is
Sure.
it weird driving a car without the sound of the engine?
Not anymore. It was at first because you're like, what is that noise? It's the tires. Like you don't hear the tires when you're driving a gas vehicle, but like you hear everything in these.
So it's finally important to have a quiet tire.
Yeah,
Could be.
exactly.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Ben loves Tesla too. Obviously, he's a big Tesla guy.
I think anybody that ends up in a Tesla, and they're not quite like affordable to the masses yet, but they're getting closer with the Model 3.
Sure.
But I don't think I've met someone that owned one and is not still in one. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think I've ever heard someone say, I really hate my Tesla.
that's what I'm saying.
so-
The autopilot is the biggest differentiator. It's not about like,
Is it spooky?
it is, but like, and you have to learn, like, I think people have this misconception that like it will take you from point A to point B, which they do have a beta mode that does that. But my safety score, safety score has to be like 98 in the app. How well you drive, mine's never been above a 70. It's been as low in the 30s.
Interesting.
But like what it has been and what they've released for the last many years is like it will just keep you in your lane. It will change lanes for you. It won't go turn you onto like a street. So it's just more keeping you in lanes, changing lanes, and then pacing other cars. But that alone, like going into Chicago when my wife and I are going to dine, we're 25 miles on stop and go traffic. Amazing.
Oh, I bet that's fantastic.
Just takes me all the way into the city, and their technology is way ahead of others. I've driven Acuras. My wife has a Land Rover Defender that is trash when it comes to like their technology. It's on the opposite end of the Tesla, and Tesla's just so far ahead of the rest that it's impossible to stray away from it.
I experienced that only one time. Kirk's was that an E-Class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His AMG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most recent one.
Yep. That had he put that in. I'm like, are you
The
serious?
lane
right now?
guidance where it kept you in there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
changed lanes.
Yeah, it was it does that too. Yeah, I was in my wife's Land Rover and it has guidance where it keeps you kind of in the lane. And I put my blinker on. I'm halfway into the left lane and it veers me back.
Whoa.
I'm like, dear God, I wanted to go into the left lane. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, no.
Just-
that's not good.
That thing's got to go by. It's a big hunky piece of crap.
Dude. Man, that's wild.
I honestly haven't heard a ton of people say, look, I'll only buy Land Rover.
I know, it's true.
Land Rover diehards. I don't
know.
think they exist. Well, maybe they do. I don't know.
I mean, they brought back the Defender after many years, and it was such a badass car in the 90s. Like, I was excited that she was excited to get it because she's
Sure.
not a big car person. But yeah, did not live up to expectations.
I was actually going to ask. That's a good thing. What's the wife think about all the car stuff?
She's so supportive. Like she knows that deep down inside, like what my mission is, and so she's not like a big car person at all. Like this is a woman that wears like Old Navy clothing, and it's not because like she's cheap. It's just like why go and dress with Gucci or like status symbol stuff like that.
Sure.
That's not us. Like I dress for comfort. Like shorts and a t-shirt or sweats, like that's all that I wear. And so like we both just kind of dress for comfort, and like she's the same. Like she doesn't care about cars really. Like it's what's most functional for her. And she loves her Tesla. She has the Land Rover and then a Tesla.
Okay.
And then she got a Jeep. I've nudged her into getting like multiple options.
Sure.
But like, does she care about super hypercars? No, she almost never drives them. But she has the Rubicon 392, which is amazing.
That's cool.
Badass car.
Those
You
are cool.
pull up next to like someone in like a new Camaro, right? And then you just freaking roast them because we supercharged it. But
okay.
awesome.
First Rubicon 392 supercharged in the USA.
That's awesome.
And then the Tesla also smokes most anybody off the line. So she's got these fast cars now that I'm thinking about it, but like ultimately they're just functional, great cars, and she's happy with them.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's super legit. That's awesome.
Just the other day, yesterday, I think, there's a guy to pick up a car, and he's like, I'm here for the Senna. And my wife calls me. She's like, which one is the Senna?
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good.
She just doesn't care. And she's supportive of it. And she knows that like, I will make the right financial decisions for the family. And I'm always very conservative and cognizant of what our budget is. So
sure. Yeah. We might have to do like an episode from the car condo or something.
Oh yeah, man. That'll be done in about 3-4 weeks, and it's going to be open to the public. So
that's cool.
I'm going to shoot myself in the foot saying that as well, because we might have steady traffic that never ends, but like, we'll try to manage it as best we can. But if anybody ever wants to come and see a car, I know that most of your people are Wisconsin watching this. I don't know if this is but Naperville, Illinois is where it will be in
the Hamilton Collection.
Come and see a Bugatti, come and see a Pagani.
So that's going to be just like, is there going to be like open hours where you can just,
as long as someone's in there 9 to 5 probably. And then
gotcha.
we're shooting content throughout the day, TikToks, Instagram, YouTube, but I mean, we can work around that.
For the Hamilton Collection, right? Because I'll put a little thingy right here, Hamilton Collection, IG, YouTube,
Nice.
all that stuff.
Yes,
you
thank
know,
you.
that's super cool.
Appreciate that.
You do a lot of cool stuff.
Try.
It's been really cool watching that from where it started when I saw the IG first pop up to what you've done with it now. You know?
Yep. Well, it's funny because every channel's a different persona. Like TikTok is a little braggy because like ultimately we do what works, right? And like I'm not that guy on TikTok, and we've reeled it in a little bit. But like you have 10, 12 seconds to get people's attention, right? So it's, you got to show them the cars. You got to make some kind of like witty, braggy comment. And it works because we've had the most growth on TikTok. We have 700,000 followers there. And then that ultimately acts as a funnel to the other channels, right?
Right.
But YouTube is where like, it's my true personality, our crew, Tommy, Natalia, Bailey, like that's us. We actually tone it down a little bit where your average person like hypes it up, like off camera they're all mellow. And there's a few influencers we've talked to where they're very mellow, and then they get on camera, they're like, all right, everybody.
And just light up.
But we have to tone it down for the camera because some of the stuff we say is just, I mean, it's just beyond reprehensible.
the IG reels, I've gotten a kick out of for the Hamilton Collection because like your humor on there is, for me, it's like my humor, like the dry kind of sarcastic.
Spot on.
I love it. So
And
me and my brother have just busted out because of those things.
And I have to think about like employee perception, right? Like there's I don't know 700 of you guys that when I'm putting this out, I'm like a lot of them don't realize is that I've been doing this for 19 years. I have grinded. I don't know if the past tense is ground. You wouldn't say I've grounded
What do you
out.
say? I grind.
Is it grinded when you're talking about like?
I think
don't
you
know.
should say grinded because ground makes me uncomfortable.
That sounds
We'll
weird.
go with grinded. That's fine.
I've grinded it out
There we go.
for 20 years, working 80 to 100 hour weeks, like legitimately sacrificing friends, entertainment, fun. Like I've busted my ass, and while I understand why there's some like misperceptions about like me being bragging, like, oh, if he's making this much money, why can't he pay me
That's
more?
so
Or
toxic, though. Come on.
It's dangerous, but I get where they're coming from, but it's dangerous because they don't understand that I've been at this for so long. I started with nothing, right?
Sure.
Literally nothing.
Right.
Like we would have underwear passed down to us. Like my older brother, like gross. We would literally be buying used underwear from resale shops, and this is one of those memories where I think about having underwear passed down, then I'm like, well, wait a sec, we'd actually be going and buying used underwear.
I hope there's not a smell that brings you back to that.
Yeah. Not that to loop back on smell.
Fortunately.
Man, remember this one pair that I had?
Oh man.
It reminds me of like
That's wild, man. That's wild.
So like while I respect and appreciate all the team members, like, and I get where they're coming from, like ultimately there's also a lot more that I'm doing than just the wheels and
sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you've got a lot. You've got a few things going on. I think
couple.
it's fair to say.
A couple. I do my best to manage it all.
I found something out about you recently.
What's
and
that?
I just want to, I've honestly always found it interesting. Anytime I hear stories, whether it's about like, drug and alcohol use for those that have made it.
Right.
Yes.
And I hear, like, for example, first one that pops in my head, Grant Cardone. He did do drugs, and now he's super successful. I found out that you haven't done any of that.
Yes.
And I've heard stories about that as well of people, and I just want to know maybe what made you make that
Is that a
decision?
conscious choice? Yeah.
Because I admire that, and it's
So first of all, I'm an open book. I don't think I've ever been asked a question that I was unwilling to answer. That one, I don't think I have actually really answered on any of my medias or for anyone else. So thanks for asking.
It's cool.
I would say that my parents abused alcohol all throughout my childhood. You almost become a parent when you're 7 or 8 years old. You learn how to be a parent to them when they're inebriated, passing out, probably saying hurtful things that have damaged me that I need another psychiatrist for. Who knows? I do my best to manage my childhood.
Yeah.
But heavy alcohol abuse, I think I always told my parents that, like, you know what, like, I'm never going to do this when I'm older. It probably started as some rebellious 8-year-old saying, like, I'm not going to do this, guys. I refuse to do this, because there was a lot of hurt there, right? And you know what? Like, I am a guy that is very true to my word, and there is probably not a person you will find that will say anything against it. Like, if it comes from my mouth, I mean it, and it is the truth. So I think kind of holding that through to middle school and then high school, when you're faced with those peer pressures, even though like I checked all the boxes. I hung out with the kids that smoked weed, that drank. I just never did it. Like, I had that, and that ended up making those relationships kind of deviate, because you find that later in high school, those people get more and more focused on weed. They get more and more focused with drinking. Like, that becomes their identity, which is fine. But like, I was like this poor kid that was in my, I mean, I think I had a good brain on my shoulders, but also did bad in school, but didn't drink. Like, I didn't fit in with anybody, but I still held true to that. Don't drink. And I actually never smoked, have never done any drugs. I was joking with you guys right before how I've never even drank coffee. It's no like religion.
Yeah.
It's not even a religious conviction. I've always just had this, like, the initial barrier is the hardest one to get over. And if you do, the barrier is lowered, or the bar is lowered, however you want to call it. So if you don't drink alcohol initially, that's your highest barrier. Great. But once you've done it, your likelihood to become addicted or to do it again is a lot better. The propensity to do it is going to increase greater. So I know most people can handle it. My wife had to teach me that people can handle alcohol, because all I saw was my parents going to get alcohol and getting drunk. So I'm sitting at the table with my wife, and I think she would have like a drink when she was 18, 19. Never very good with how but I'm like, how are you drinking a glass of wine and that's it? Like, how are you stopping?
The control piece.
So she taught me that it's okay, and she taught me that I would probably be fine if I started drinking. But here I am at 38, and I'm like, why start? Like, I'm happy I can manage my stresses, my anxieties. Like,
I respect that.
Why
start?
That is cool.
Now, I also respect people that do drink, because most people can handle their alcohol, right? I didn't know that in my teens. Most people do just fine, and I know some people like to go get drunk and have fun. You know what? That's fine. It's largely harmless as long as you're not going out on the road or making bad
hurting
decisions,
others.
right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
I don't judge, but I also don't, like, if someone offers me a drink, I've learned not to say, oh, I don't drink, because then there's guilt that they feel like he's judging me. So I just say, no, I'm good, man.
That's cool.
And there's like a weird line there too, because trying to think about it, explain it. I play live music, so I'm in the bars.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm around drinking often.
Yeah.
And I like to have drinks and loosen up myself. And I know I don't have any sort of problem or anything, but there's that line where, I don't have a problem. It's not like that, but could I be more successful tomorrow and have a clearer mind if I didn't go crazy? And I'm not going to stop myself from doing that on a Friday night. Because Saturday I'm kind of fine with the morning being lame.
I get it.
But if you're doing that on a nightly basis, or even a few times, maybe that next morning,
a little cloudy,
you could have gotten into something that really opened up your future. I mean, really.
Yeah. No, it's funny, because I'll sit down to meetings with like high-level PayPal people, American Express, and this is real life stories where at least people are like 4 or 5 drinks under, and I'm like sharp as a tack, and I'm just like, wow, this is weird, because everyone around me is inebriated, but I can like sit here, laser focus, like, I don't want to say get what I want, but like I can start pressing further and further for the whys to certain things, because they're more likely to tell me.
Sure.
And then it helps me like position myself better for negotiation or whatever it may be. By the way, I brought bourbon here for Trevor. Nice. He's a good dude, and then I got some for Patrick. Like, I wish that I drank like
from like a social aspect.
I feel left out, But like, there's so much. Like, I love like soda. I love soda. Like, I went and did a soda taste test, a root beer taste test with my kids. We bought 20 root beers, and I'm like, gosh, there's 20 root beers, but there's like 1,000 bourbons. How neat would it be to just be able to do that? And I could, but like that barrier is so high because I've never done it that I just don't want to cross it.
You don't want to open Pandora's box on that one.
And who knows? Addiction does run in my dad's side and my mom's side, like heavily.
Propensity to that maybe.
But then you'll feel like you're kind of like, I just spent this amount of time doing it, and now I just say, screw it. You feel like you've just like kind of blown that.
Exactly.
Not that you would be doing that, but that's what it would probably feel like.
Well, it's true. Yeah, it's like I'm sharp now. I'm okay now. Like, I don't need to bring that into my.
I watched I think it was I don't mean to bring him up twice, but I watched another Grant Cardone.
You really like GC?
No, I
your guy.
No, he just comes up on. I watch like my brother's big into watching like Andy Frisella. I know he mentions often.
It's like Jocko for me.
Yeah,
Jocko for me.
Jocko, same. But anyway, Grant Cardone comes up on my Facebook feed, and he was. A guy was asking him, what's wrong with me smoking some weed when I'm making cold calls and stuff? And he said, because you can do that and you could probably be successful, but I'm going to be way sharper than you every time.
Yeah,
and I will beat you. And, the kid's like, seriously? And coming from him, it meant a lot. So
I mean, in general, that stuff doesn't bother me. When it becomes a problem to how, if someone shows up to work drunk, that's a problem, right? And that's happened plenty of times. Mm-hmm. You guys probably have even witnessed it here. And if you have, I don't want to hear about it. But, but like drunk, high, like if you can be effective and do that and you're not operating heavy machinery, maybe not drunk, but let's say like, if you want to partake,
you're a little fuzzy.
If you want to partake in the weed, as long as you can be effective, then great. That's fine. If it mellows you out and like you need that, cool. Like I'm all for it. It's just not for me.
For me, it's a state of mind thing. You started touching on it where I hold so much value in just being sharp. Yeah. Like especially if I'm in my like weekends, maybe it loosens up a little bit, but dude, during the week at any time, like I came in today knowing like we got a big day today. We got this going on. There's so much happening, and I'm just here. I'm present for it. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? And if I'm not like that, I'm in my head about it because I'm like, dude, why? I hate not being just like ready to go.
But some people may have like anxieties that cripple them from being able to ready. And then smoking a little bit of weed might actually make them more productive.
I've never thought negatively about people that do.
Nope.
But it's. For me, I'm kind of like that. Like I like being sharp. So if I was, mellowed out, I would miss a lot of stuff that I normally would. So, but I know there's a lot of people and highly successful people that do. I mean, throughout a day and
Elon Musk.
That's literally sure. You got to get him on the pod.
Have you met him?
Amazing man. No, I think he's he's the richest guy in the world. I imagine he's pretty untouchable, but I would love to.
Well, I'm sure you will someday.
I would be humbled at his presence.
We'll call him after this.
There you go.
We'll get you. We'll get you in touch with him.
There you go.
Yeah, we keep saying this, but Rogan has been on our case lately. Just like, dude, relax. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, we'll get you on, man. Settle down.
The emails are getting ridiculous.
If I keep wearing these first day of 8th grade outfits,
can we talk about that really fast?
Then we're not gonna have some high caliber people wanting to be on me.
Hilarious.
I made fun of myself. We don't have to, make a bit about it, but I made fun of myself before I came on because I was in a rush leaving the house today, and I kind of threw an outfit on, and I thought I had a new shirt that I bought in my truck, and a hat, and I had neither of those, so I'm stuck with this waist high Fox shirt that I probably had in 8th grade, and a pair of And One shorts. And I look like I am walking into my first day of 8th grade.
Well, it's good that you call that out before someone else. Like that's my philosophy has been like, you know what? Like I've got this big 6x6 Resvani and my license plate says small peepee.
I love that thing. Dude. You know what? It's so funny.
They're gonna hate on me and say that. I'm just gonna call
get out ahead of it.
And that's my philosophy with everything. Like if I'm having a bad hair day, just be like, I know my hair's fucked up. Like,
hey guys, check it out. Just get it out of the way.
Yeah, because you can't. If you're the guy that makes fun of someone after they already made fun of themselves, you're not funny.
Idiot. At all. Yeah. No one thinks you're funny.
It's a valuable life lesson I try to teach my kids. And
By the way, how do you pronounce it? Resvani?
Yeah.
That is it came up on my Instagram because I think you posted about it. Yep. I showed my brother. I didn't even know they were a thing, and it's the sickest vehicle I think I've ever seen. It has above the supercars even. I think it's the coolest
that's your thing.
It's top. It's top. It has the biggest delta from enjoyment to piece of shit that I have. Like it is the biggest piece of shit, but it is one of the most enjoyable cars that I have.
What's your biggest complaint with it?
Yeah.
Oh God, like just everything breaks. Like
Really?
poor hardware. The engine's getting replaced as we speak with 1,600 miles on the old one. Like,
Dude. That's wild.
The bed shakes as you drive it. Like it's way underbuilt, and I spent over $400,000. Like it's the entire build quality. It was underbuilt and then poorly built, being underbuilt, but it's so fun.
Where are those made?
So fun. They are made. So it's a Jeep Gladiator. And what I like about that as a 6x6 is almost all the other, like Apocalypse and all the other 6x6s, you know what it was. Like you look at it. So you said you didn't know, but you look at the other ones, you're like, that was a Gladiator. That was a Dodge Ram. That was a Ford Raptor. This one, like nobody knows what it was. And that's what I like about it is it looks like it's this independently manufactured vehicle, but it's just some cheap ass plastic body kit bolted onto a Gladiator. A plastic
That's
400. Yeah. Like I realized it was plastic and I'm like, all right. That was when I finally lost all of the respect for it. When I'm like, okay, we're gonna go shoot this thing. Oh, we put in a video that we're gonna fire a gun at it, right? And then Resvani emails me the next day. By the way, we kind of use this grade bulletproof armor, so you may only want to use like a small handgun or a handgun.
Are you serious?
I'm like, every day there's something else, and then the next day the passenger window stops rolling down. I'm like, every effing day there is something that just disappoints me about this.
We were only going to use a 9mm. Yeah, I would recommend a 22.
I was talking like airsoft, maybe paintball.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So
You also have GTR that you're not a fan of that you're building the shit out of, right?
yeah, like I feel bad like shitting on that car because I know Mario had one and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta like think about the people that and we like that's part of the TikTok persona is my Corvette C8, my GTR. Most people would love to have one of those. So like
Yeah.
I don't mean it when I call them my shit boxes, but relative to the collection,
Exactly.
like, that's what goes and gets someone to watch a TikTok. And it's funny because like to me, and I don't mean this like condescending, like they are like the shit boxes of the collection, right? So
Yeah.
So it's just funny to refer them as that. But the GTR, like I drove in it once, and like it just feels like it's so cheaply constructed, and it just felt like I don't know. It just didn't feel like a good experience, and I largely bought that because like people wanted to see something like that and have something fun and stupid. So yeah, 2,000 horsepower build, shooting flames. It'll be done in like 3-4 weeks, and
Who's building that? Can you say? Or is it-
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Cannonball Garage down there has done they tuned my 765, my Senna, my old 720. They've done a lot of work and they do a great job down there.
That
Highly
is
recommended.
insane, dude.
And their owner owns the Cannonball record. Arnie owns the record for.
Would you ever do
Doing
something
that.
like that?
I mean, I hit 206 miles an hour in my Bugatti just a few days ago.
There you go.
On
Okay.
a private runway.
In Mexico, yeah.
Right.
Correct,
believe that.
correct.
Exactly.
But that was the fastest anybody I know has gone, and I had to break that 200 mile per hour barrier, and I was so pumped that I did.
Hell yeah, dude.
You have
Yes.
to do. I'm not telling you what
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do with your
No,
own
let's
stuff,
hear it.
but you have no choice. You have to do a half-mile run with that GTR when it's done.
Oh, I thought you meant like physical
Half
running.
mile?
I thought you meant running. I'm
No,
like,
'cause I
I'm
wouldn't
not
even
running,
do
bro.
that.
I know. Dude,
Yeah, wait a
I-
minute. You want me to run?
I work out 5 days a week, but there is zero cardio. And my trainer is wonderful because like he's in the same mindset. He's like, no cardio, just lift.
Yeah.
Make a bigger engine. You'll burn more calories with bigger muscles, bigger engine. Great. But yes, a half-mile run in the Chiron or the GTR.
GTR.
Oh yeah. I'm
Texas
down.
2K action.
Oh, if I have a safe environment, like there's no limit to how fast I'll go. I mean, you're talking to a guy that flies a single engine plane. That I mean, I'm. It's weird how I'm risky with certain things, but then like my taxes, I'm super conservative. But whatever,
Yeah.
my brain doesn't make sense.
I think that's great.
It's true. Like I could flow out my whole like logic process with buying, but being thrifty, supercars, but not wanting a jet, environmental impact on a jet. But
Yeah.
there's a flow to it all, and it would all make sense. But it would be a very, very wide logic tree.
I'm young, and my brain hasn't matured
Neither's mine.
yet, but I'll trade you.
Stop it. I still learn things. I still learn things every day, and it sounds cliche, but like there are bits and pieces that I take every day, and I think you realize just how inexperienced you are. Like even in my 20s, when I'm running these businesses, right, and you think that you know it all, like you don't, and even now, like I know that I don't know it all, but I know a lot more than I did in my 20s, and it's important to be open minded and continue to learn. And one of the biggest things was like how you react to people. Like I've finally learned to just like stop, like don't always assume you're right. Like listen to the person and validate. Like validation is huge, right? If someone
Yeah.
says something that frustrates you, it's like, okay, you know what? I hear what you're saying. Let me think about that. I'm not sure it's right, but like that has largely changed my life. And instead of just saying, no, you're wrong. Like, that's not right. It's, you know what, you might be right. And then while you're saying that, even though you may not fully believe in it at the time, your brain's kind of working in the right direction as you're saying that. And you're starting to realize, yeah, you know what, there is some validity in what this person is saying. Like, I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. And then you get a lot better response from that person. That goes with anything, marriage, friendships.
Like, even if you can relate to a piece of what they said.
It's true. And almost oftentimes that you can, you know, like, and my wife is right a lot. And before, you know, like, you know, earlier it would be that gut reaction. I think we both had it. And like, now I'm like, all right, I'm going to slow down and listen to her, validate her, maybe wait a day. But I would say 9 out of 10 times the woman's right.
Yeah.
Like, and I was wrong.
That's fair.
And I was wrong. So
that's a good point, because a lot of that stuff, that's all like, those are learned skills. And I think it's intriguing because a lot of that stuff, like when you break it down, like, yeah, it's like you hear someone talking like that and you're like, yeah, duh, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you do that? They're all simple, but they're not easy.
Yeah, very true.
At the same time, they're simple, but very difficult because you have to proactively deploy them when you're talking to somebody.
Yes. Very true, my friend. Absolutely, young man.
Legit.
I have a question for you.
Go.
Shoot.
I think this will benefit a lot of people watching.
Sure.
You have a busy schedule. You have a lot of meetings. You'll have a lot of people asking you to do stuff. And
Like this.
Yes.
you know, you have places to be, etc.
Sure.
How do you manage that? Like,
Yeah.
for example, I get worked up when I'm just trying to work and I have my mind on something and 2 people are texting me about random things.
Yep.
How do you?
You're just a master of detachment.
So yeah, I mean, like, and I'm probably way more responsive than I need to be. Like, there's nobody that I ignore. There are people that follow the Hamilton collection that message me on Instagram, Facebook, and like, everybody gets a reply. Now, does that mean that I'm gonna spend an hour mentoring everybody? No, like, I have to pick and choose. But like, at this point, I'm able to manage everybody that's coming in. But like, I do it in a way where a couple tools that I use. First of all, I'm meticulous with my email management. I think there's a huge part. Like, I look at someone's inbox, and I hope you guys aren't one of these people, but like, if I see 3,000 emails in your inbox, I'm like,
dude,
oh God.
I should have brick immediately.
Oh, and a lot of even higher level people here that I've seen that, and I'm like, gosh damn it. Keep your inbox down to whatever's in your inbox should be the urgent. Like, if you're starring it and keeping it in there, if it's still in my inbox after I'm all done, that's an actionable item that's probably going to take me a week, and that's why it's in there to remind me to get it done.
Yep.
Boomerang. You use Boomerang?
Dude, religious.
I brought that to the company like 5 or 7 years ago. Like, send an email. Don't keep it in your inbox. If you're waiting for a follow-up, use Boomerang. It'll hit you back in 4 days. And then I'll be like, Zach, where's my answer on that once it hits me back, right? Labeling. And then my schedule, I use savvycal.com. That is a link.
That's what you sent me.
Yes. See?
That was legit.
Dude, that has changed my life. So
that was awesome.
I set business hours. I can exclude weekends. You can write rules where, like, no booking within 24 hours. Don't book something within 15 minutes of another appointment. So I just send the link, and then people can pick a slot, and they add it to my calendar without me having to do any work, and it meets the parameters.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And then I'm just always attached to my phone. Like, I try to be detached from it when I'm around the family as much as possible. I probably don't do as good a job. I definitely don't do as good a job as I should. But having my cell phone on me at all times is just constantly engaged with Instagram, YouTube, and so, like, I'd say that I use a combination of things to organize my day, but also having amazing people around me that can go and execute and take care of a lot of things for me. Like, for me, I'm more the high level thought guy. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, let me help get this project kicked off, or hey, this is my business idea. But then having awesome people around me to execute it and also use their intuition and creative part of their brain to help go and do it. So people and processes.
Sure. People, processes, tools.
It reminds me of
you
actually got me in touch with Kelly from Pet Supplies Plus.
Oh, that was you that had the pet product.
And I messaged you. I talked to my brother, and I was all excited.
Yeah.
And I said, I think Kirk told me that, because I didn't know you had any involvement in Pet Supplies Plus.
Yeah, sure.
And I said, I'm going to message him. And Kirk said, do it. So I went home and I drafted you up an email. I think a Facebook message first. And then you replied within like 3 hours, and I said, Caleb, Steve Hamilton just replied.
Yeah.
He's gonna hook me up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she was able to. I don't know if she made it happen. But like, oh, good.
They're in the normal Illinois stuff.
Yes, and I like to like delegate things that I don't like to be a decision maker on certain things where it'll affect like Kelly runs my 7 stores. I don't want to push a product on her, be like, hey, he's an employee of mine, like you need to sell this.
Right.
I want to empower her to make that decision, but it also makes me less a bad guy if we don't use it.
Sure.
At the same time, like people are afraid of me here, and I'm like, I feel like I've never done anything for
You're like the
people that-
nicest guy ever, dude.
I mean, I hate receiving compliments, by the way. It's so awkward for me. I'm like a
You're a
compliment-
really mean dude.
Thank you.
You suck.
I'm a compliment deflector. Like I'll be like, no, you're a nice guy, buddy.
Yeah.
Right
No,
back
you.
at ya.
Reverse card.
So it's so awkward for me to receive compliments, by the way. So if I get like awkward, that's whatever. It's best to just not.
I almost complimented you again.
Best to just not do it.
All right.
Plus, you don't want to build my ego.
That's
I'm
true.
just kidding.
Yeah. We need to keep that in check, dude.
TikTok's gonna be under fire then.
Yes. But yes, it's, I forgot where we were going other than, I like to empower people to make these decisions ultimately so I don't look like a bad guy, but so that you can get connected with the right people.
That's
so that,
actually specifically what you said. You said, I want to make the connection for you.
Yes.
I won't be involved in accepting it or bringing it on, but I'm like, absolutely. That's literally all. And you did that. So.
but I don't want, anybody that's a team member that's watching this, like, my door is always open. Like legitimately, I'm never going to bite your head off. Like I will be warm and welcoming. And my goal is to help you do your job better always. A happier person means a more productive person. And I just want them to be happy. So
I can attest to that. He's not
try.
bullshitting.
I try.
That wasn't a compliment, so don't get a,
Good.
don't get a big head.
Good.
I know what you're talking about though. If someone says you're really good at something, and then they look at you,
It's
you're
the
like,
worst.
okay, yeah.
It's the
I
worst.
know. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know how to react to that. Like I feel like I don't know. I don't know how to react.
You know what's the worst? It's fine if they just say like, "Hey, Steve, you're really good at whatever." You're like, "Thank you," and then if the conversation
leave
goes
it.
on, all good. But if they say, "No, I mean it," you're really. It's like,
I'm like,
okay, come on.
When they dig in on that,
Yes,
yep.
yes.
Dude.
Even thank yous for gifts. I'm like, I don't know how to handle. Like, thank you. This means I'm like, okay, like I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. You can't stay in it. Even dude, if it's like a hey, nice car, even that I'm like, it took me a while to understand how to respond to that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, sure.
thanks.
Yes. Exactly. I'm just like, they're a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's fun. I really love it. And then just silence. And I'm like,
Dude,
all right,
those
gotta
are some
go.
of my most awkward interactions. I can't think of
Yes.
examples right now, but I've had some where I've just said some stupid shit because I didn't know what to say, and then I just drive away.
I'm glad it's not only me.
Nice car.
Thank you.
I like Legos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, that's funny.
We just made a joke about that the other day. Like, what if instead of how at the end of an email people normally always say like thank you, comma, and then their signature or best or whatever.
Yep.
What if we just start saying something completely random?
Just reinvent it.
Yeah, reinvent
Like,
it.
sweet dude, comma.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the bottom.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Sweet.
Just whatever.
Something random.
Yeah.
May the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to turn.
It's like a paragraph. My next email to you is gonna have something weird at the end.
I just send GIFs. Like I send, and it's GIF, by the way. It's not GIF. I get
That's
in
fair.
fights about this all the time where I went and show and I'm like, all right, here's the guy that invented it. And they asked him and I'll send him the link. Like it's pronounced GIF.
Here it
people.
is.
So anyway, it is not uncommon to get a GIF from me that makes zero sense. And I love doing like the emoji replies where if you get an emoji reply from me, that means like I'm checked out of the conversation. Like now it's rambling and I'll just pick a random emoji and people are like,
Boink.
what does that mean? Like, is he trying to, I'm like, no. I just literally
He's trying to
picked a
tell me
random
something with
emoji.
this poop emoji.
Yes. And then the GIF one is a great way to like lighten the mood where like the conversation will be done and I'll just send a random GIF that makes no sense. And that's just one of the quirky
You're a big
things about
Borat
me.
guy.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
It comes and goes.
So do you eat? Is GIF your favorite peanut butter then?
Oh wow.
I mean, how
That was
would
good.
how would you pronounce GEOFF?
G off.
GF.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
Geoff or
Gotcha.
Jeff.
Gotcha.
There you go. There you go.
You win.
Can't even argue that, dude.
GINA. It's not Gina. It's not. It could be Gina.
It could be.
could be Jenna.
It could be. You're not
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh man. So yeah, just the English language is wonderful, isn't it?
Check.
It's your first name.
Indeed.
It's
What?
There.
Got
I see what you
it.
did
I'm
there.
in. I got it. It's a
Good
good
job.
takeaway.
Yeah.
We're not. That wasn't quite a tahine takeaway, but it was a good takeaway.
Oh, man.
the guest has to bring on a tahine takeaway. I can't do the
That's true.
tahine
It's-
takeaway.
Yeah, it's an oop to the alley. You got to set them up for the dunk.
So
That makes sense.
tahine is a spice that you add to your drink or something, right?
This is Alex Martinez. You know him?
Yes.
He's a tahine kind of guy with his Corona.
Yes.
It does make it taste good. However, it induces a chemical reaction and makes it explode. You have to really
like banging the bottle?
keep an eye on it.
I got you.
But
Which we found out on his episode because he started to add it and then he's like, whoa, and it was
Ooh, man.
we figured it out. But tahine, solid stuff.
Very good.
We'll have one. We got some time left. We're doing good. We might hit a tahine takeaway.
Oh boy.
it'll come naturally.
Yeah,
That's what she
it
said.
always does.
Yeah.
That's what she
There,
said.
three.
There we go.
Yeah, we don't have to try.
We got 3.
Very good.
Steve,
That is my name.
you know, yes, it is. Steve-O, as they say.
Oh boy.
Do you listen? We're pretty big dudes,
Yep.
not just physically, but also
In the pee-pee.
Yep.
exactly.
That's right.
So I know I don't want to
Downstairs.
be intimidating here, but do you have any questions for us, like life advice?
I mean, yeah, sure. Like, of course. I mean, my brain right now is like, how are you keeping this conversation going so well? Like, are you like, do you just have
I feel weird.
Do you have a stop? Like, for me, there was like a 5-second pause of awkwardness, and that's all that there's been. And you guys have been carrying it along. So I'm wondering if you just have memorized bullet points in your head, or if you're just really good conversationalists. I
That's
don't know.
it.
That's literally
That's
it. I'm
just
not
it.
trying to sound like that guy, but this
We've
is just
talked-
us, dude.
We've talked about this before. He's done not podcast,
Streaming.
but streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm used to keeping it going like live with a crowd,
You guys just
music
know your
wise.
shit.
So we just
By the way,
Besides, yeah.
By the
go
way,
ahead.
I played drums for like 5 years too.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I mean, I know that there's a connection within the musical community. So I'm big
Big
percussion
drummer.
guy.
what's do you like still play?
I
or-
bought a new set, and it's like a hodgepodge that my brother helped put together because he's an even bigger drummer. Mike, who's also a team member here. So is Joel. Actually, my whole family has worked for the entity at some point, and then my extended family are still ingrained within the company.
Hell yeah.
You know what I love about this, and we'll circle back. There are so many siblings and like family members that work here that I think it's testimony that while there are ebbs and flows of sales and rough and good times, but like it's still testimony that it's a fun place to work at if so many people bring friends, family. Like I think there's probably 40 sets of siblings that work for this company.
For sure. Family
It's
operation.
It's pretty crazy, but yes, big drum guy. I love playing.
You should if you're. I know you don't just come up here to like just be up here,
Yeah.
but if you're ever up here on a weekend, and you think about it,
Yeah,
we're most likely playing on like a Friday, Saturday night.
no, that's badass.
And
badass.
it's normally local, so
Yep, and that sounds like a fun time. And I love supper clubs. Like you can't get a real legit supper club, and so like there's a lot of fun going to Vibe. Like I'm a huge food guy. I hate being called a foodie because I think that's pretentious. Like I just I like meat and potatoes.
You
or
just like food.
I just like food. I like to eat. And so like half of the fun for me in eating is like the vibe of the place, and that could mean that it's like this just crusty old crappy dirty looking, like Waffle House is one of my favorite places to go. The people there are part of the ambiance.
Yeah.
The setup is part of the ambiance, and supper clubs, like it brings me back, I think, like to my, I don't know, it brings me back somewhere from childhood. Just
it
the
the
whole
smell?
Experience. Maybe it's the hour you spend drinking.
It could be.
when you're there and you're just around people around a bar.
Yeah.
And the smell, and then like
Yep.
everyone I've been to up here has been like not beautiful.
That's fair. Yep.
One of them was a trailer like in front of a farm.
Yes.
But like that's my shit. Like I love that, and I love going and experiencing that. And if it has good food, that's especially if it's like reasonably priced. Like I can go get like a $15 ribeye or like a $20 prime rib. That's huge and like and delicious.
and probably
So
just as good as the one that you'd pay $100 for at.
it's true. Yeah,
Likely.
they're really good. So
Sure.
I'll go to a supper club. I'll catch a show. And then get some cheese curds and then be on my way back.
That's fair.
Sweet.
They put
Well-
on an awesome show, I will say. I've been to a few.
Yeah, I believe
he
it.
and his brother.
But other stuff for you guys, I guess it would be like what could I do to improve as a, I know this is less about like your skill set, but it's I would love a candid view on what I or other owners even could do to just improve company culture overall, whatever. Give me a takeaway.
So for our day jobs,
our
our other profession, not this one.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. You deferring to me first? Or is that what this was? I saw you do this.
Yeah, you can go.
Got it. So honestly, Steve-O,
Yes.
Dude, just recently, I know you're talking about how enjoyable it has been for you to be back in the rotation.
Sure.
Just seeing you guys, for me, is awesome. You guys being present, you guys knowing what's going on,
Sure.
you know, the relevancy there, I know goes a hell of a long way. And the kicker for me is with you, with David, with Ben, with everybody, Sean.
Yeah.
You guys are genuine,
We try.
legitimately genuine, not a compliment.
I was already deflecting it in my head. I'm like, we try. I gotta say something to stop it.
Like, oh, shit. Yeah. No, but since day one, dude, I literally, I've had real life jobs before this. There's a lot of folks that work for us where this is their first home base.
Yeah.
I've worked for some great companies, you know, what have you, nothing against them. This place is like nothing else. And it's still in tune with what you guys started. So you guys being in it to the best, you know, as you can be.
Yep.
For me is massive. I just love seeing you.
Good. Very nice.
It's huge.
Any input? That's what she said. Any
Mine,
input?
number
mine
4.
is please don't let the core values that you guys started it with.
Yes.
Don't let those change. Like the reason that, for example, I came here, this is our podcast.
Yep.
I can say it every
Safe
do it,
space.
man.
This is you.
When I
Hit it.
started, Sean, you know, I'd see him walking around,
Yeah.
you know, bullshitting with everyone, swearing, just
Yep.
being himself, not
Yep.
trying to be some like suit and tie.
Yep.
And then it was a while before I met you, and I would, you know, the first like couple of years that this was a company, I heard Sean had, you know, guns in his office and stuff, just because he's into guns, and
Yeah.
that's cool to me.
Yeah.
And that hearing those things is what made me. I consider myself a down to earth person.
Sure.
That's what drew me into the company, because
Yeah.
it wasn't just another job. It was a company that actually stood for sticking to their values.
Yep.
And
Like actually.
actually,
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, please don't let that change, regardless of the pressure of
Yes.
outsiders that come in.
And I think that very good input. And I think that, you know, over the last year, like trying to protect ourselves, we tried to get a little bit too corporate too fast. And I think we're reeling that back in now. We're getting rid of some, you know, someone shouldn't have to go through 5 different people to get an answer. So we're trying to reel that back in, and definitely advice taken. And I hear you there, man.
Yeah.
I'm with you. How about back to, so I'm curious, like who is someone that you guys have always wanted to actually have on here, and like who is the top of your list? Is it Joe Rogan? Is it Elon Musk? Like who's attainable that you guys want to have on this?
Attainable is the
Attainable.
key word.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just going to go with my gut because I have 2 right away.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows me, especially here, and a lot of things I do know, I follow him religiously. Jocko Willink and Rob Bailey. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or
I'm
not.
gonna nod and pretend like I know both of those.
That's
people.
cool, man. That's cool. Those would be the 2.
Got it.
And I'm only saying that because we have you checked off. You know what? You also got to get Sean up here.
I could work on that.
Yeah.
I think he's enjoying Florida right now a lot.
That's the thing. We're gonna need some firepower.
This was a stressful year for a lot of us.
Fair,
so
that's fair. Yeah.
He's kind of detoxing from the stress down there, and I think he needs it, and it's making him flourish down there. So, but
That's cool.
eventually,
That's
we
cool.
know Sean will be back, and he'll be super excited and pumped when he is.
That was, not to veer off of the subject that we just brought up, but what he said is definitely, like, your guys' faces around
Yeah.
is, it kind of just like draws everything.
I mean, look at this.
It's
face.
the glue.
Look at this
Look at
face,
this,
man.
right here.
Look
This
at
one.
this.
This
Yeah,
face.
Just
see,
look.
Yep.
You don't need
Did you look?
compliments. You same to yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
That's right.
But what was the question about people having on?
Yeah.
Mine,
Who's at the top of your list that is attainable?
honestly,
Like Warren Buffett, like not attainable for anybody, right?
yeah, gotcha.
But-
It's a big assumption. I mean, for us, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, that was a pretty big statement. But,
Oh man.
I'm thinking immediately. I'm thinking a musician. I'm thinking like, I can't think of a name, but someone from around here, maybe, that if I talk to the right people, I've gotten to know a lot of people in
Yeah.
the music industry in the state who know people. So maybe, you know, meeting a famous musician might
Yeah.
not be unattainable because I know people that know people that know people. So having someone on that I've looked up to, and I play guitar, someone
What do
that
you
I
guys
looked up
play?
to playing guitar, like anything from Eagles to
Oh, nice.
to Van Halen. You know,
Oh, okay,
stuff
cool.
like that.
I'm not a big 80s dude, but I love
80s,
70s,
90s.
70s, 60s, 50s, 40s
A lot of
music.
lot of 90s though. Like
Of course, I'm a 90s
grunge.
guy. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
38 years old, so that was my early mid 90s. That's. I think everybody when they're 12 to 18 years old, that's
Yeah.
the music
That's
period
the
that
window.
defines them.
Stained, Pearl Jam, that type of stuff.
Alice
Yeah.
in Chains.
But I
Very
think
cool.
I think that'd be it. I don't have a name in mind.
Yeah.
Slash is my from Guns N' Roses. That's my biggest
Very cool.
one. If there'd be
Neat.
someday I could, link up with them.
Can I add two really fast? Add two to my list.
Yeah,
If we're
do it.
talking attainable, I think one's way more attainable than the other. You know who'd be kind of fun?
Who's
Charlie Barron's, dude. He's a funny guy around this area. You know who Charlie Barron's is?
I'll continue nodding and pretending like I
Sweet,
know.
sweet. I'll look him
All
up.
right.
Tom Segura would be the other one.
Dude, Chris D'Elia.
Oh, there you go.
Do you know who
Comedians.
Chris D'Elia is?
I don't know who anybody is that you other than Slash.
Okay, Chris.
That's fair.
Chris D'Elia he's a comedian and he has a
Okay.
podcast called Congratulations, and
Nice.
it's just hilarious, dude. You would laugh if you. I might even just message you his channel just
You
on
should.
your messenger.
I
so
will
you
take
can,
a listen.
Yeah, and he's just sarcastic, in your face humor. It's
Good.
hilarious.
It's solid.
That's
That's
my type of humor.
I would agree. That was a neat question. Never been asked that.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, it's important that
When he
we're
asked
looking out for you guys too.
when he asked you if you have any or if you can ask us for questions.
Yeah.
I forget
What?
how you
Did
formed
you
I
the
think,
question.
I think it was. Can I take any advice from you guys? Which
Yes, it mainly started as kind of a joke, I think, but I was
Uh-huh.
impressed that you actually came up with questions that
Oh yeah.
that we
I mean,
could
yeah,
answer.
I can be an inquisitive guy, and yeah, I mean, this is stuff that I genuinely would be curious about hearing. So, I mean, what is that car like? What is that car for you? That is like, what's the one you haven't been able to drive that you've always wanted to drive? This is where I might be able to help. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah, maybe. I mean,
Maybe not. Maybe not.
no. Honestly, geez, that's really tough on the spot. However, you do have a P1, which is pretty high on the
Yes.
list.
Yep.
I'm a huge Koenigsegg guy.
Oh, nice.
Like
Two en route.
yeah. So really any Koenigsegg, that's my like upper echelon number one brand.
Nice.
It's Koenigsegg.
Well, the Yesko is due
dude,
early
that's
Q2, so we'll get you down.
Oh
there and
my
we'll have
God.
or maybe I'll whip one up here.
That'd be
fun.
incredible. So there you
How
go, Koenigsegg.
How about you, young
I'm a
man?
big Corvette guy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, hell
All
yeah.
right, all right. Very cool.
C6ZR1 maybe.
That C8 is looking pretty sweet.
It is.
That's
She's
true.
rad.
That's mine. I don't know though. I'm 6'5". Could I even fit in that thing?
Are you really 6'5"?
I'm 6'5".
He's
Holy
a tall
God.
dude.
Tall drink of water.
I don't think you would. And I was in the 765 LT Spider, and that one I barely fit in, and I'm 6'2", so that's out of the question.
it really crushes my dreams.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good news, I'm 6'2", so whatever you fit in, I fit in. So
Oh,
we're
how about
good.
that?
I don't know
So
about
maybe,
that. you know.
honestly, the answer to that question might be whatever I fit in.
all right. I got you, bro.
That's
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Nice.
Honestly, if I could even just if you could just let me putt around the driveway in that, God, what is it called again? The Gladiator base thing.
Oh, yeah, the Resvana. You'll fit in there.
Dude, that's it. I'll
Yeah.
be happy.
Oh, there
Do
you
it.
go.
That'd
do
be
it.
so sick.
That's perfect.
I'll bring it up here one day because I know Trail Built's going to want to do some content with it, so we'll do that
Perfect.
for sure.
Second to last question for me. We're coming
Yes.
close on time. You're very generous with us today with the time you allotted.
Sure.
So two questions for me real quick.
Yes.
The first one, what's your take on milk? Are you
On
a milk
milk in
guy?
general?
Do you? Yeah.
Oh, huge. Like
You like milk?
Like my kids ask me what my favorite drink is, and it's chocolate milk. And like I went to Starbucks the other day, and my daughter and I, my 9-year-old daughter, and I order drinks, right? So I'll come the drinks, a vanilla iced coffee and a large hot chocolate. Guess which one was which? I had the large hot chocolate. She had the vanilla iced coffee. My 9-year-old. I'm like, why avoid it? Like she wants the drink and she genuinely likes it. So I'm not getting her coffee every day, but like,
Yeah.
I'll spoil her once in a while. But yeah,
Big milk guy.
huge milk guy.
Okay, how about white milk?
Yeah.
Just
Will you
I
just
love-
like go for a glass?
Dude, cheese,
Ugh.
milk. I'm not like a soft cheese, like a brie kind of, but like any milk product, like cheeses, cheese boards, like
for sure, yeah.
you name it, like pizza, like damn.
I'm down with all that besides the glass of milk, dude. I'm not getting a glass of milk.
I mean, like
You know?
By itself.
if I had a
Never.
bunch of options, one of which was milk, I'm gonna get a chocolate milk. But like, but with cookies, like.
Oh.
I wouldn't do chocolate milk with chocolate chip cookies. That like
No.
the only drink I will grab with brownies or a chocolate chip cookies is a big glass of milk.
That is fair.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Because I have said the same thing.
No, if you'll remember, I want to say it was a couple episodes ago. I said if cookies are happening, are in the area, a glass of milk is also in play for me.
Got it.
That's like the one scenario.
Anything savory, anything with salt in it, like salty, like a salty steak or a burger, dude.
That's good stuff.
Give me all the milks.
Yeah, heck yeah. Sign me up.
I love that he had his ringer on, dude.
Yeah.
Another one of these.
Oh,
Give me one of these.
Dude, he's so
No,
obnoxious
that was-
with his phone.
That was not my ringer. That was my alarm. So that's the only one that will protrude through. And
That's fine.
that was
That's
my
fine.
That was my 5-minute timer.
Exactly.
Whatever it was, that's fine because he makes fun of me for always having this on
So
vibrate.
obnoxious.
Oh, vibrates. I haven't had my phone turned on, the sound actually on for 10 years. It's only the alarm comes through.
That's what I'm saying.
Only the alarm.
I turned mine on loud as soon as I leave the building.
Oh,
Silly guy.
and he takes more calls than you do probably, and I
love
don't
it.
understand it.
He's a
Every 2
popular guy.
seconds, you know. It's
I got a lot of business stuff going on.
yeah.
That's all right, man.
I know you guys can't really relate, but
Colin, I'm gonna
Making moves.
wrap it
let's
up
do it.
with
Yep.
the big one.
do it.
Now,
That's what he said.
oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's okay. That was good.
Know what I'm saying?
Do you have anything you want to slide in there?
Oh man, I'm not even.
Nothing.
It's too easy.
Okay.
That was
Too
an
easy.
Alley oop, no deal. Anything you'd like to finish with before I ask the question?
No, I think the main things. What you're gonna ask is all I'm waiting to hear, and that's it.
Roger that. Steve-O,
Yes.
listen, again, thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for your time.
absolutely.
Oh, dude, no worries. I know we had to move a lot around, to get you in here. So what we like to do is end with our guests just asking, and you shared quite a bit in the beginning, which was awesome, but
Yeah.
is there anything that you would like to leave us and or the people with as far as, it could be something not profound, it could be profound, it could be life advice, it could be anything random, anything you've learned that you feel
I mean,
strong about?
One thing came to mind, and I don't know that this is at the top of my list, but like it's lead with love, right? So in every decision that you make, whether it be looking at someone that's been through life struggles, looking at someone that is gay, like looking at transgender, looking at someone that might be a dick, like whatever it is, lead with love. Like always try to understand that person may have had a horrible childhood, they may have had a really rough upbringing, they may have had adversity throughout their life. But ultimately, like, put yourself in their shoes and just always try to lead with love. So I don't know. That's that. I try to make all my decisions based upon like, you know what? Like you can go and hate on transgender people or whatever it may be, but like, you know what? What good is that going to do at the end of the day? Like support people, be there for them, and I think you'll be a lot happier because of it.
I
really enjoyed that.
That is a good humble.
That was incredible.
I try.
And if we ever had a Tahin takeaway,
roll it.
that was it. Steve, we are right on time.
Nice work.
Again, thank you so much, man.
Gracias,
Seriously,
amigo.
genuinely. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Colin, what do you got?
Wait, can you please? Normally do this, but for us, can you please tell everyone to like, share, and subscribe?
Everybody be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this awesome podcast. And thank you very much for watching today. Y'all have a great day. Did I end that for you? I should.
That was beautiful.
We are ending right
was
there,
beautiful.
Steve. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Later, folks.
Bye-bye.